I'm flying into Barcelona from London. I'm supposed to meet Doug and everybody at the airport, and my plane ends up getting in like 4.5 hours late. No one has a cell phone or any way to get in touch with them. They only know what time I'm supposed to get there, and they don't even know what airline. So first of all, I show up at the airport and don't even know if they're going to be there or not. So I'm walking out, I get my bags, coming through baggage claim, and just walking outside praying they're going to be there. And then sure enough, I'm looking around the faces and then finally see everybody. And so that was a relief just to start things off. And then Doug decides to break the news to me that all our places to stay have already fell through. I don't have any place to stay, so we're all going to stay at this hostel. And we're all super low on a budget anyway, but the first thing we have to do is go sell out money and stay at a hostel.
Barcelona. Same shit. Different country.
Well, Julian decided to try the Superman stunt, first trick of the tour. He doesn't even do another trick. He doesn't warm up. He doesn't do anything. He just tries like the biggest disaster, breaks himself. It's one of those situations where you're kind of nervous because you know you have this whole tour ahead of you, and it's this huge stunt. And you want to make sure it's so sick, and you want him to land it, but at the same time, you're like, wow, if he gets hurt, it's gonna be the whole tour. So sure enough, first try, he just locks on perfect and slides out, and everybody's like, oh my God, he can actually do this.
Come on, if you're on it, right there. You just got to stand up.
How you feeling? Just getting at me real quick. About to land it though, right here.
And then he tries again and again, but then I think the fourth try, he jumps again and just his whole sole foot misses. He lands right on his hip. There's like a 20-stair gap to his hip, and his whole body just collapses. I don't know, that was pretty rough because it's the first trick of the tour to be out of commission. We were pretty worried about it, but
Yeah.
it took about 3 days. Just didn't do anything. Just kind of limped around. And he was hurt, and you could, hurt him to walk, hurt him to come out, but he would still come out with us when we session. He'd come film or hang out or lie on the ground in pain or whatever. But it was like that for the first few days, and then sure enough, like he was still hurt. He'd try to go out and skate, and he would skate until he got hurt. He would try a few tricks, even if it hurt him, it was hard, and he'd do it until he fell. And then sure enough, every day he would get a trick or two, and then hit his hip again, and just be dead.
Okay, so here's a daily update right now. We're on day 5. Julian's already pretty much out of commission, and we're also pretty much out of money right now. We've been staying at a hostel, living it up a little bit for the last couple of days, but that costs money, and since we're out of money, we kind of have no place to go after tonight. So as of 11 in the morning tomorrow, we have no place to live. We'll probably be out here on the streets nearby, so maybe we can find somebody to rob.
Yeah, we're just chilling in the park, taking in the nice scenery and the air. We're kind of homeless right now.
We met Gustavo from Mexico City, and he hooked us up with another place. We ended up actually renting a flat in Barcelona.
Where else in the world do you still live on the Skeleton Key? Right here. Come on.
Which was the best place to possibly stay there. And so we all had our own room. We had a kitchen, bathroom. We basically had just an apartment downtown Barcelona. So it was one of the best spots probably in the whole tour to stay at after all.
Our eating area with the 14-karat gold tablecloth. It's for royalty. It's for royalty. Where do you guys want to go today? Montbao? You want to go to some kink rails, some transfer rails? Let's find out. Okay, Montbao. We're going to take the line 4 to line 3. Boom, right there. 4th exit. Perfect. Any spot you want to go, right here. Just check the map. Let's check out what's in the fridge. Only the best. Oh, it smells beautiful. We got a piece of sausage. We've got some half-opened corn. This is luxury right here, I'm telling you. We got Doug juggling the eggs like it's nothing. Whoa! He's switching it up. Oh! We got an egg down. Think of all the things you could cook in this pan. Look at this. You could cook a family of 8 for spaghetti in this pan right here, dude. I can't get over how good this place is. Simply amazing. Barcelona is notorious for thieves, and it's just true. It's just how it goes there. Okay, giving a recap of what just happened here. Doug is officially the luckiest man alive to have his bag back right now. Brent and Will are skating this nice little perfect Barcelona marble ledge right here. We see this crazy guy, blue shirt, white hat. He walks up, he starts saying, hey, look at this over here, over here, over here. You know, and we're freaking stupid gringos, so we're falling for his distraction. So we're, you know, these guys are over here trying to figure out what this guy's pointing at, talking all crazy. Next thing you know, he's gone. And this guy comes running out. He's like, "Oh, your bag, your bag, your bag, your bag."
We had the whole thing on film. Doug's filming the guy who's robbing us, and the other guy steals the bags. But I still can't believe we got everything back. And
we just took every side street, every corner, got the cops, jammed all over the streets of Barcelona.
I caught him back in the alleyway down there. Lucky it was two of them. I had to knock both of them out. I got Doug's bag off his back. I found Brent's bag by the trash can.
Sure enough, he gets Doug's bag back, he gets Brent's bag back, and if we hadn't got him back, it would have been horrible. It was their passports, Doug's new lens, all the footage. No, everybody always tells you, you know, watch your bags out there, be careful, you know, there are thieves everywhere, and it's true. I mean, everybody got robbed in Barcelona. We got robbed multiple times, and I mean, with the bags, like, yeah, we're lucky enough to get everything back, but then, you know, later, his watch gets stolen. Brent loses like 40 euros, and then Doug is on the train, he gets pickpocketed, and I'm on the street, and I get robbed from an MP3 player, like 500 euros, and all my credit cards and all that kind of stuff. And as it happens, go to the casino and start playing roulette and try to win money back. Horrible. I mean, you're on a budget to start with, and then half your money's gone anyways, so it's not the best way to start the tour. Brent's birthday was fun because we tried to throw him a little surprise party inside the flat. That's really all we had, and we didn't have any decorations, so we just took toilet paper and threw toilet paper all over the room, and got him a bottle of whiskey. Nightlife in Barcelona is definitely good. It's pricey, and everybody on tour is on such a crazy budget. We'd show up at a bar and just try to order a drink, and, you know, let me get whiskey and Coke, and they're like asking 10 euros for a whiskey and Coke. It's like you can buy a bottle of whiskey at the store down the street for 5 euros. Transportation's way better in Europe, I think. I mean, I like it so much better. You can, if it's not a spot you can just skate to, you can just hop on the metro. You can just, I mean, Barcelona's a city where you can just get on the metro, guess around, say, okay, I'm going to get off here, and then you get out, and there's just stuff to skate no matter what. At every metro stop, every little village, everything in Barcelona is skatable. I mean, you can just go through the city and get lost. You can just roll through, grab onto a bus, go off and find stuff. You know, skitch on taxis, skitch on buses, cars.
Cut his wings out.
Es mi cachorro.
When you're trying to hang out outside with more bags than you can handle, it's pretty sketchy anyways. So we're at the beach with tons of bags. We're trying to tie them together and lock them together because we already got robbed once anyways. But we just kicked them on the beach, just flew some kites. Brent took his new camera out and just tried to sneak candid photos of topless women on the beach. So at the flat, the last night that we're there, everything's been going good for a week, and you know, we're still able to be loud, we're able to party up there. But the last night, they rent out the empty hostel room to this other family. So there's a family with a wife and baby and everything, and so they're staying in this other room, and we're all trying to live it up on our last night, and we're throwing stuff off the balcony onto tourists and all sorts of stuff.
You want to get her?
So it ends up, I guess Brent and Julian go out and come home super wasted.
Yo, I'll move your pants. Where's Gumby? We'll be back any day. Get fucking
And end up breaking the window inside their apartment. In the meantime, we already had 6 people staying in our flat, and we only told the lady that we had 4 people in there. So then they bust in the morning and find out that we actually have way more people. And so we try to like hide everybody in the other rooms, and they end up catching us, so we have to end up paying extra for everybody who was staying there.
We're busted. We're out of here. We're off to Zurich.
Try to tell everybody, you know, we're going to so many spots, we're going to be traveling, and we're going to be on the road so much that just try to pack as light as possible to make it easy. And I guess Will shows up with this body bag of clothes, And he's like, yeah, I just didn't think I wanted to do any laundry, so I just brought a shirt for every day of the tour. Doug's been talking to this girl, Kim. He's like, yeah, I don't know, this girl, Kim, had emailed me and said, yeah, it's fine, you can stay at my place. So everybody's like, all right, yeah, I'll stay with this girl in Zurich. And so we get off the train in Zurich, and they're holding a sign that says mislaid media, but it turns out that Kim is a man, not a woman. But no, Kim was awesome, man. Kim was like probably the nicest person I met like the whole time in Europe. He hooked everything up. It's not that he just lets us stay there. He wants us to be more comfortable, so he stays at a friend's house and just gives us the keys to his flat and just like, here, make yourself at home, you know. I know it was ridiculous. His roommate had like all these weed plants, and Julian didn't have a spot to sleep, and so at night Julian would go out on the balcony and sleep outside in a sleeping bag surrounded in these weed plants. Zurich was a quick stop, but I mean it went really well. The scene in Zurich is really, really good. We'd show up at a spot and there'd be like 30, 40 kids just trying to go out in session, which it's kind of like a love-hate thing. It's good and bad because it's awesome to hang out and skate with everybody, but I mean, it's definitely harder to get stuff done. Julian goes to Alley Topsoul, the ledge at university there, and like first thing the next day, it's on a post in B-Mag, you know, so stuff like that, it's hard when there's so many kids to try to keep your footage exclusive. I think Kim definitely made the trip in Zurich enjoyable. Hooked it up good. Right after Switzerland, I leave, take a train back to Barcelona to meet up with the Kansas guys for about a week or so. In the meantime, everybody else goes to Ignition Skate Shop to meet up with super sexy Supreme photographer Philip Forstner. They go around to Austria, Germany.
Backing up, you know, trying to go to some drop zone or some shit. Just pull backs up into a car. Will's gonna come through. You guys have a little eye candy.
Met back up about a week later in Austria for the Ignition party. It's this one building, and it's the Ignition skate shop, it's the Ignition bar, and then everybody lives in the floor above. Everything's connected with Ignition. The Ignition party, I mean, I was terrified to even see what was gonna happen at the Ignition party even before I even got there. I mean, last year, I go to the Ignition party, wake up in the hospital. This year, I don't even know what's gonna happen. It's such a good event. I mean, these guys, they don't have any good ledges in their city to skate, so they just build a ledge outside of their skate shop. They just go buy concrete and build this perfect ledge and have a huge session. Like every kid from the area comes in, and they got good music, they got a barbecue, they got a fresh ledge to skate. I mean, it was awesome. Doug and I captured some bikes, went riding around up in the mountains.
Ignition gave me this bike, there's no brakes.
We tried to go climb this one mountain, but it didn't work so well.
Here we are in the Tour de France. Coming down to the finish line.
For the Ignition parties, all that's there is just only skaters come to the party. There aren't other locals in town.
Salute.
Locals are like 80 years old in the town, so it's just skaters. So you have this whole room full of just crazy testosterone-filled people. it just, things go nuts and stuff gets broken, and I don't know, it's just the way Ignition is. You have to go there to experience it. I heard they lost their license to have a bar there anymore, so kind of feel a little guilty for being part of killing the Ignition bar.
Hello, welcome to Ignition. I'll be your bartender tonight. Would you like a drink? Yeah, sure, here you go. You want another drink? All right, drink up, you too. Yeah, you want a...
Bar's gone because of that night.
Hi, my name is Leo Dornhauser and I'm the owner of Ignition Skate Shop.
I'm Sebastian Scholz and I run the Ignition bar.
We just had a chill week with the Misled Media guys.
Ein guter Knädel. Knädel mit Sauerkraut und Schweinsbraten. Austria, all black.
I didn't even know what to expect when we got to Amsterdam. I just expected something crazy, and Remy was awesome. Every single morning we would wake up to the loudest, most annoying song from Amsterdam called What's Gebeurd. We'd be trying to sleep in, and he would just come in and crank it full blast until we just couldn't take it anymore and had to get up and leave his apartment. It was good staying with Remy because, you know, if you're there on your own trying to find everything, you're going to go to all the same stuff that every tourist goes to. And yeah, you might hit a coffee shop, but it's going to be the lame coffee shop catering to Americans. By staying with Remy, we actually got to go to the actual exclusive places, go to the best of the best shops, places to eat, best coffee shops, best bars. You know, he'd show us where all the exclusive stuff is. I mean, Will was lucky because Danielle got to come through about halfway through the trip in Amsterdam. He was actually going to get to see his girl, but Brent, from day one, was already, you know, playing the sappy little, oh, I miss her, and, you know, he has to go to shop every day and buy a calling card. And
the only smart way to get around in Amsterdam is by bike, because everything's so close together.
Amsterdam, everybody just rented bikes and cruised around one day and went from spot to spot by bike.
A lot of the skaters after a session come to hang out in the Vondelpark because there's lots of Albertines, you know, grocery stores to buy cold beer at, roll up and just check out the honeys and sit in the sun.
Seriously, 6 inches or Russia, say 15 centimeters. You think New York is bad? Try to come to Amsterdam.
After this tour, I hate the French, I'd have to say, to be honest, just because of their train system, because every time I'd have to take a train through France, they'd be on strike, and so you end up, you'll get a train and get all the way to the French border, and they're like, oh yeah, sorry, you can't keep going, you're gonna have to stay here tonight, so you end up sleeping in some cold, awful train station. So we get stuck in Brussels for 9 hours, we go out, we find a park to chill in. Julian and Gumby just chill on the grass and just basically fall asleep, which in the meantime, Julian gets his cell phone stolen. Me and Doug just started wandering around the city trying to find something interesting. So we walk up this huge hill and end up at some government building, but they're doing construction, they have this huge crane, and so we're bored and we're like, oh, let's just climb the crane. So just start wandering up some random crane and end up getting really good city views of all of Brussels. And
after Amsterdam, Jeremy was well accustomed to steep staircases.
So we ended up in Paris at like 2 in the morning, and our place to stay there is falling through. So then, you know, once again, we're stuck with all our luggage at 2 in the morning trying to find a place to stay. And so we end up getting this hotel across the street from the train station, which is like a one-room, tiny, and we're trying to all cram in there. Everything was planned out so good, and then it's not like 1 or 2 things fell through, but everything fell through. So a lot of it was just, we had to just improv it and see what we could find and stay where we could and make it work. And you know, in hindsight, looking back, you know, it's funny and you can laugh about it now, but at the time, everyone was just ready to kill each other, I think. The hostel we ended up finding the next day in Paris was called like the Woodstock Hostel. It's the most played out hostel. The only good thing to happen out of the whole hostel in Paris is the fact that we got to meet Pink Man, kind of an old-time skate video legend himself. He was just out in Paris randomly walks into our hostel. The guy in a fully pink leotard with a unicycle. Really only had 2 days to skate in Paris, but things still went good. You know, Bercy's, I mean, it's played out, but it's amazing. It's amazing for a reason. But we still got to go to a lot of good spots in Paris, and I guess the definite downfall of the Paris experience is when Gumby broke his hand. We were at La Defense, and he was trying to roll out on a big drop rail and slipped off and jammed his fingers back in a bank, and it was the same hand that he'd hurt out in California. And so he already had shattered bones in his hands and fell on it again. He was just out of commission at that point. They go to the hospital, they do x-rays, and it ends up that when he was in California, his wrist was broken the whole time. He had shattered bones in his hand and everything, and he didn't even know it, and just been skating the whole time, just making it worse and worse. But they said, oh, just wait till you get back to the States. Don't worry about getting surgery here. You can get it when you get back to the States. So sure enough, he comes back to the States, and he gets here. His fingers are tilted off to the side. Doctors here say, you know, there's not a surgery we can do. It's too far developed. You waited too long, and you know, his fingers might be scarred for life now. I forgot whose idea it was. I think it was Brent's idea to get a bottle of whiskey. So we're on the train, and me and Doug are on one end of the train, and Julian, Brent, and Gumby are on the other end of the train. And sure enough, like an hour into the ride, we just start hearing crazy stuff from over on this side of the train. And these guys are just getting wasted on the train. And Will and his girl have like a bottle of wine. And so we're like in the middle, like in between cars, having like this awesome party in between Paris and London. That was really fun.
When is this Jenny?
In about
Jenny ends in Waterloo.
10 minutes, hopefully.
Fucking England and shit, man. I love it.
So everything's good, everybody's partying, everybody's having a good time, and we get to London, everybody's pretty drunk from the train ride, and we show up and we find out that our places in London have fallen through as well, and we were gonna stay with our friend Alan, but he ended up having to come to the US, so we couldn't stay there. But it was okay, because we'd be able to stay with Leon Humphreys, you know, London local, but it ends up that Leon had just fallen on his hand too. He'd broken the hell out of his hand. He's been in the hospital for like the last 5 days, so we can't even stay with Leon. So again, like in every other city, we get there, we're at the train station, it's 2 in the morning, we have absolutely no place to stay. And so we're trying to call around and doing whatever we can, and we end up meeting a friend of Ollie Short's. His name's Dave, and I pretty much owe Dave my life. Dave saved everything. Dave saved our lives in London.
All right, now.
We're all just hanging out at the spot, and Julian's walking by. Julian like just randomly trips and hits his face on the ground, and he just has a look in his eye like just so worried, right? And there's like blood dripping from his mouth. We're like, oh my God, he was shattered his teeth out or something. Like it looked so bad. So we're all like panicking. He keeps a straight face for about 10 seconds before like busting out laughing, and ends up he'd found this blueberry juice that looks exactly like blood. So we start just messing around with the locals, skating like the worst amateur you've ever seen. So he'd like clip his foot on a curb in front of people and just smash his face into the ground, and blueberry juice would fly everywhere, and people were just freaking out like, oh no.
Woman's like, oh! Like gets like, she's even more shocked, and then he comes over and then starts laughing, and then the two kids that was with the mum knew what was going on, and they're all like, Mum, just calm down, like he's joking. Show them the way that you feel.
Okay.
Things are gonna be much better.
Sit down.
Tough one. You okay?
I think I hit my head on a step.
Look at me.
Yeah.
It's not okay, it's not okay.
You have to, I just had a bad fall like 2 days ago, like yours. Believe me, sit down. Sit down.
Yeah?
Sit down for a minute, it's cool.
Yo, can you play me a song?
I'm going to in a minute, yeah, relax.
Okay, you want to take one half water?
I would love some water. Thank you.
With me 2 days ago.
That was pretty good landing though. No, he came out that good. It could have been awful.
Seriously, sit down for like 10 minutes. Like, take it easy, listen to this guy singing. They're pretty good. They're quite good, actually.
You know, shit happens. Shit happens. Stairs are made, you know. Huh?
Yeah, can you give him some lessons though?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if you want to learn from me. I'm not the best as you can see.
That's what she told me.
Fall down, bust my
Like, me riding a bike.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm not best DJ.
Well, thank you for all your help. That's my man on the sax like that. Blow that sax. Woo! You hear that?
It's the day before we're about to leave. Everybody gets to go back home. Everybody's gonna go back. I'm going to Poland, and we're all splitting up. So much stuff has gone wrong the whole tour, but it seems like it's just over. You know, we can finally go home. It ends up, Will starts looking for his passport and can't even find his passport. So his passport's gone the day before we're supposed to go to the airport. So he's panicking and has to go to the embassy and get a rush passport last minute. Tour is nuts. I mean, there's ups, there's downs. You know, awesome skating, some pretty bad falls, some intense moments, but I mean, I'd do it again in a heartbeat for sure. It's one of the best trips of my life. Like, it's something that's not really limited to just someone who's sponsored or, you know, someone who's like a professional going out to film for a video, because it's not, in reality, it's not like that. It's not like this is some tour where you got sponsored by Sony and by all these companies and they just paid for us to go kick it for a month, you know, like everybody put their own work into it, their own money into it, and, you know, just made it what it was.